So, I want to show you the end result first. This is going to sound kind of stupid, kind of strange when I'm going to show you the end result, because you're not going to understand how any of this is done right now. And that is completely and totally intentional, because we're going to revisit this and come full circle at the end. Someone name me something random I might have taken a picture with at some point in time ever.
Chicken.
A chicken. Okay, that is random, okay? So, you remember after typing in and doing different things like that? I just want to show you something that's almost magical. And he picked chicken, and we didn't set this up. I'm going to say, okay, Google, show me my photos of chicken on the TV. No, I have to be quiet for a few seconds. The TV it'll say, showing your photos of chicken on the TV. Come on.
Showing your photos of chicken on TV.
I don't know what's about to come up. So, be completely honest, I have no clue what's about to So, duh.
Chicken.
So, duh.
Now, are
Close.
those only in there by
Don't ask any questions yet. I want to show you the end result, and I'm going to answer all those questions now.
Well, it's a rooster, but it's a chicken.
Tastes like chicken. Okay. It's a rooster, it's a chicken, tastes like chicken. There's a rooster, it's close enough. But here's what I have. I've got the chicken showing up back there. Now, you're all saying, okay, how, what, where, how is it hooking to your TV? How does it know what a chicken is? How does it know all of that? That's what we're going to answer now. Okay? So that's what we're going to answer now. But I decided it's actually kind of cool to show the end result before you show how you get there, because then you'll understand what we're eventually working towards. Does that make sense to everyone? Because that's what we're going to do. But we need to talk about some stuff before we even started with that. Okay? And this is what we need to talk about. There's all kinds of cool stuff Google Photos can do. We're going to talk about the cool stuff Google Photos can do, but we need to start at the most essential problem that all of us, well, not me, but most of us, other than me, in this room have, is, well, what is a backup? What is a backup? Now, we're going to play with some hypotheticals right now. To get started, we're going to play with some very interesting things, some very interesting hypotheticals here that I really do love. So we're playing with the hypotheticals, and I've got, let me just make sure we're going here. I've got my phone. This is my iPhone 8 Plus. It is not connected to the internet. Now, just so you know, I know some of you are Android people. It does not matter which phone I do this with, whether I do it with my iPhone or whether I do it with my Android. It is an irrelevant factor. For the purposes of this experiment right now, I want you to understand that neither of these devices are connected to the internet. They are, but for the purpose of this experiment, there's no internet involved. I'm going to take out my phone, open up the camera, and take 3 photographs. So I have the whole room. 1, 2, 3 photographs. And you'll see on my phone I have 1, 2, 3 photographs. Now here is the important question. How many copies of each of these photographs do I have? 1. No internet, no AirDrop, nothing like that. We're not going crazy yet, okay? Because this is the important thing to understand. Now, if I were to take these photos and AirDrop them or copy them to my iPad, no internet involved, not good. How many copies do I then have? 2. Then I'm going to take them from my iPad and I'm going to put them on my laptop. How many copies do I then have? 3. Here's the loaded question. Everybody has the right to answer this except Gordon because he knows the answer. So, how many backups do I have, though? What do you say? 2? 1? The answer is no. No. Here's the thing. You said it. You rumbled it. You have 0 backups. Here's the thing I need you to understand. Anything that is mobile is not a backup. Does that make sense? Anything that leaves a single location is not a backup. It is merely a copy. And we're going to use the backup word a lot in the next hour and 15 minutes. So I want you to understand what a backup is. So we've got on these 3 devices, and these are 3 individualized copies of that software. Does that make sense to everyone? There's 3 copies. Now I'm going to put it on this desktop right here, her desktop right there, and then I have 4 copies. But here's the loaded question. How many backups do I have? 1. This stays in one location. This should not move, therefore it gets to be a backup. Does that make sense to everyone?
Okay.
Do we all at home have either a desktop or a laptop that acts as a desktop by most of the time staying in a single location?
Yes.
Does everybody have something within that spectrum? That is your first backup. The thing is, with everything you cannot get back, you want to have at minimum 3 backups. And that's where we start on the sheet here. You look, it says, get going with Google Photos, the cheat sheet, and you'll see, remember the 3-2-2 rule. For everything you cannot replace, you want to have 3 different backups of in 2 different locations with 2 different backup types. So, plugged into your computer, you hopefully have a hard drive. That is a secondary backup. Now, if you're an Apple person, you might have a time capsule. So you have a time capsule that backs up all your stuff, backs up your iPhone, it backs up everything like that. That is a secondary backup. It is plugged into your computer or anything like that. Now, I'm going to lie to you right now, and I want someone to call me out of my lie. This is my backup drive. You want to call me out of my lie? Would I be carrying it out of my cabin and showing it to you
No.
if it was my backup drive?
Mobile.
It's mobile. Anything that's on here is not a backup, it is a copy. You understand? This is, if you don't live this philosophy, if you carry something around, when you are carrying around a backup, it is merely a copy. Now, I carry around hard drives all the time. I want to actually show you my backup hard drives, and I moved them into the iLounge to show you the backup hard drives. Now, they live up here. When I came on the 17th, I came up the evening of the 18th and set them up here, and they've been set up ever since. So they've been here for about 15 days or so. Now, I back up a lot crazier than most. So you have 2 backups. If you have a computer and you have a hard drive plugged into the computer, that's 2 backups, right? But they're both in the same location, right? I want to show you my hard drives I plug into the computer, and then we'll go a little bit further. Now, some of you have a time capsule or some kind of thing like that. I want to show you my time capsule. It's a little bit extreme. Now, I have to show you on camera because I can't move them, because if I move them, would they be? No, but they are in this room, so I'm going to go into the cabinet where they are. They're actually named after Dr. Seuss. You know Dr. Seuss, right? Thing 1 and Thing 2. And I lock the cabinet. Rightfully so. My backups are under lock and key. Say hello. Thing 1. And Thing 2. Now, your time capsule has about 1 terabyte of information on it. These each have 16 terabytes of information on them. They have movies and TV shows and all kinds of illegal things that I shouldn't have. I always find it funny when I was looking at that list of movies that just came out in the theater for Run P earlier, I was like, how many of those movies are on Thing 1 or Thing 2? And I determined almost half of those movies are already on Thing 1 and Thing 2, and they just came out in the theaters last week. But that's a discussion for another time. But those stay in a single location, and therefore they are my backups, and they back up to each other. And believe it or not, there's not just a Thing 1 and there's a Thing 2, but there's also a Thing 3. And Thing 3 is at home, and the important things from Thing 1 and Thing 2 are on Thing 3. Now, for a lot of you, you've got your computer and you've got your hard drive. I hope we have at minimum that. Fire happens in the house. Guess what's gone? The backup and the backup of the backup. My dad likes to keep SD cards. He doesn't think they're reusable. He doesn't think they're reusable, so the backup's gone, the backup of the backup's gone, to give you an idea. So what you want to do is, yes, you have the computer, you have the hard drive, but you need a second one in another location. Now, does that mean you can put another hard drive? Yes, you can take another hard drive, put it on your computer, back it up, drop it in a safety deposit box. That's what I do. So every 6 months, I can drop it in the safety deposit box. But here's the thing. Inside of this computer, there's a hard drive. Inside of this hard drive, there's a hard drive. Let's say North Korea decides to do something crazy. Guess what happens to all the hard drives? I'm just kind of going there. So what you need is you need them on a different medium as well. So you've got them on a hard drive, but you need to put your information on something else. Now, the original something else you could put your information on was actually called Flickr. I don't know if any of you remember that. There was an online thing called Flickr, and you could there was. Yeah, we'll get there. Yeah. The shell of what Flickr used to be is a form, so I address it. Flickr's now owned by Yahoo. Flickr's dead. But a lot of you in this room have Apple devices, and you have iCloud. And the thing I dislike more than anything else, this is coming from someone who, I generally use Apple products. I'm not faking it. I'm not going down to my cabin and using a Windows computer. I mean, yes, I do use my Android phone, but I don't have an Android tablet. Oh, be quiet. See, this is what Samsungs do. Okay, so I didn't even ask it to do anything, and it just did it anyway. Where's my train of thought? Apple. So the thing is, with iCloud, iCloud is an option. Number one, you have to pay for iCloud. Now, the reason you have to pay for iCloud is because Apple makes money when you buy their products. They don't make money as you use their products. Does that make sense? Have any of you ever bought a Kindle before? You might have bought a Kindle before. And a Kindle, they sell for actually at cost. They sell a Kindle at the cost of the device, and they make the money back when you buy books over time. Apple makes a majority of the money up front. Therefore, to store your stuff, they have to charge for cloud. They have to charge for storage. Now, Google's a very different model. Google is, they only make money as you use the device. I mean, my friend here, let me see your phone real quick. She has this phone. When I saw this phone, last cruise, it's called a Drowo. I thought it was a piece of crap when I saw it last cruise. I'm telling you honestly. And then I used it, and I'm like, oh my God. It's actually a pretty reasonable phone. It runs faster than most Samsung phones, and it's a brand, I've never heard of it before. I mean, to give you an idea, but Google doesn't make any money when you buy that phone. They make money as you use Google Search, as you use Google Maps on the phone and different things like that. So Google has a financial incentive to want you to continue using the devices, and that's why Google Photos is free. I think that's the important thing to understand. Google Photos is free because Google makes money as you use the device. Apple makes money when you buy the device. And it is a great option. I'll explain to you a little bit more about the finances behind it and different things like that. But I think here's the interesting factor. If you have iCloud and you're not paying for storage, you get that ugly thing that says your thing has not been backed up in X number of days. We don't want that. That's a little bit annoying. So what I'm going to show you is we're going to start by talking about Google Photos, which is a third backup, is in a different location, and is a different medium. It fits the requirements of that rule set, okay? So does that make sense to all of us there? It fits the requirements of the rule set, and that's what we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about today. So what I'm going to show you how to do is I'm going to show you how you set up Google Photos. I'm going to show you from a very high level so you can see what's going on. Myself or Wandy for the remainder of the cruise, if you come by, we'll help you set up Google Photos on your device. So be it iPhone, be it iPad, be it Android. I'm going to show you on iPhone and iPad because that is the easiest thing to show, but it is the same, if not actually an easier process on Android too. So what I'm going to do, Google Photos does not like to go out to the screen anymore easily, so I'm going to do it with my phone and a tripod and show you what's going on. Now to get Google Photos, let's zoom in. I gotta get good zoom. To get Google Photos, where we're going to start is in the App Store. So we're going to start in the App Store. On Android devices, you may already have Google Photos. It's just an application called Photos. It's not called Google Photos because it's a Google device, so why do they need to call it Google Photos? So if I search for it here, let me zoom in. Photos. So I'm going to zoom in. And it should be the first result, but here's the thing. Sometimes you'll see ads for other companies show up there instead of Google. No, it's the first result. And what you'll see is you'll see Google Photos, and it'll say, do you want to install Google Photos? If you've already installed it, you'll see the little cloud there. If you have an Android phone, it'll say install. Now, to get Google Photos for the first time, when you come, you see me, Wandy, you're going to need your Apple password. So if you have that little book that has all your passwords in it, bring the book. Because otherwise we're going to say go back to the room and get the book. If you don't know your Apple password, but you have at least 2 Apple devices with you, bring both of the Apple devices so we can reset your Apple password by sending it to the other device as well. So just as a little heads up, that's how it'll work. And we'll say install. Now the thing is, the reason I'm using the phone is if I open Google Photos now, it just wants to share the photo out to the TV. So I have to do it this way or else it gets angry. But this is Google Photos when I open it for the first time. And it's going to say, all of your photos backed up safely, organized and labeled automatically so you can find them fast. And most of you in this room that have not taken this class before are saying, bull, because I can't do that. I can't do that with any other piece of software, so I call bull crap on that, right? Let's be honest with you. We're sitting, we're calling it, and I say, get started, and the first thing it's going to say is it's going to say, Google Photos wants to access your photos. And you're going to say, okay, why do we need to ask that? The answer is lawyers. So, I'm going to say, okay. Google Photos wants to send you notifications. So when it does something cool, it's going to ask to send you notifications. That's okay too. Now, we will go through this with you when we set up your device. It's not a big deal right there. And then here's the next thing it wants, is it wants your Google account. So, if you don't have a Gmail account yet, we will help you set one up. If you do not have one, please come in on a port afternoon because we may need text messaging abilities to set up a Google account for you. So just when you have signal from the carrier, we're here before we leave a little bit in the afternoon. So like tomorrow afternoon, we're here from 4. You know, we're leaving port at 4, so we've got a good 45-minute window or so that we can set up Google accounts. Today is not a good day to do it because we're at sea and no one has cell phone signal. So about 70% of the time when you set up a Google account, it asks you to set it up with your phone number. You're going to sign into your Google account, and then it's going to ask you another question that seems kind of dumb. It's going to say, do you want to back up your photos and videos to Google Photos? Obviously, yes. And what you'll notice is I have a little flow chart on your screen, and it's actually following exactly on the piece of paper, not the screen. And it shows you exactly what's going on. That's not on your screen. But here's the first non-dumb question, and it's not on the sheet. It says, do you want to use cellular data to back up your photos and videos to Google Photos? And what's the answer for most of us in this room?
No.
Yes.
No. For most of us in this room. Answer. Now, if you have unlimited data, anybody got unlimited data? I got unlimited data. Anybody else got unlimited data?
No.
My response is, watch it burn. What I mean by that is the cell phone companies won't be in business in a few years. And you thinking I'm crazy. But we'll get into that, not today. We'll get into that when we talk about the cloud or something else. So if you have unlimited data like I do, watch it burn. Last year, I used 55 gigabytes of roaming data to upload my photos and videos, and T-Mobile charged me exactly $0.00 to do that over my normal bill I would elsewise pay. Now, this is where things get interesting. There's a little button that says continue. If I zoom in down there, and when I hit continue, something very interesting happens. This iPad is my work iPad. Oh, hold on. I went too soon. I forgot. There's one more step. Then I hit continue again, and then that's my work iPad. Okay. So I forgot there's one more question, and this is a very useful question. What size would you like to upload your photos and videos to Google Photos? And you have a choice between high quality and original. High quality gives you free unlimited storage. Great visual quality at a reduced file size. High quality is 16 megapixels. The cameras on your phones are not over 12 megapixels, so you're fine. What if you have a physical camera? We'll get to that in a few minutes, but that physical camera, if it's 20 megapixels, it just crunches it down to 16. And the video, it will upload up to 1080p video, so full HD video. So if you have 4K video on your phone, if it's not making any sense, don't worry. I'm just saying if you have fancier stuff, it's going to crunch it down and make it a little worse. I took a panorama in a port once, and I went and I printed it out at Costco. We all know Costco. You know the big poster prints you can make at Costco? Then I took the same panorama, uploaded it to Google Photos, re-downloaded it and printed it out, went around the neighborhood, asked the neighbors which looked better. They couldn't tell. So just understand that the tech is really good. I just didn't want to travel with 2 big photos of a panorama, so I didn't bring them with me. You don't want to choose original, you want to choose high quality, and that will give you an idea of what's going on. And here's where we hit this continue button. When I hit continue, this is my work iPad. So I don't take pictures on this work iPad. I don't take it out and port, take pictures, everything like that. When I hit continue, all of my pictures from across all of my devices, we're sticking with just mobile devices. We'll get to computers in a minute. If some of you have pictures on your computer, trust me, we're going there. All of your pictures from across all of your devices will come right down into this device. It streams them. It's like a personal Netflix just for your photos. So you'll notice this screen is pretty empty. But you see that those empty blocks right there? In the next few seconds, those empty blocks are going to fill up with all of my pictures. So there are a couple pictures. Oh, look. Remember the picture I took on my phone at the beginning of the class?
Yeah, there it
Those
is.
3 pictures? 1, 2. It's not like my finger there. 1, 2, 3. I've got those 3 pictures already in Google Photos, and it streams across all of my devices. Now understand, even if it's streaming across all your devices, they are just copies. They are not backups. So it's streaming them as a copy. Now, technically, I can go and download that picture. You'll see that there's a button right here. Let me zoom in so you can see it. I can click download that picture, put it on a device, and then it becomes a backup. There's the concept there. So that's the concept there. And what I have is I have all of my stuff from across all of my devices here. Now I have the oldest things are at the bottom, and the newest things are at the top. What happens if I want to put the newest stuff at the bottom, like Apple has? You know, Apple has the newest stuff at the bottom and the oldest stuff at the top. The answer is tough noogies. This is how Google Photos works. So it always puts the newest stuff at the top and the oldest stuff at the bottom. It is going to upload all of your photos first, going from oldest to newest. Once it uploads every photo, oldest to newest, it's going to upload special photos, burst photos, panoramas, things like that. And then lastly, it's going to upload video. Now let's talk about what they did. Is Google Photos issued an update last night that when it uploads stuff, it uploads a low quality photo just to make sure you have the photo as a backup first, and then when you get back home, it uploads a higher quality one. So depending on the Wi-Fi connection you're on, so if you allow it to go on cellular, it's going to upload a low quality, and then it's going to fix it and replace it with a full quality one when you get back to connection. As of last night, they issued an update, so any of you that update or install Google Photos now, or if you just update if you already have it, it's going to upload a low quality video and then upload a higher quality video later. Now, here's where things get very interesting, and we're going to go very intricate in this, but you'll see that there's these three little, I think I zoomed a little too much. The problem is if I wanted to share this out on the screen right now, all it would show you is a single photo because they updated Google Photos to have Apple TV support, so it makes my class a lot harder and makes that I have to use this. But in Google Photos, there's these three little bars. We're going to go to something a little clearer on the screen, and this is like the file menu. You know, on a computer, you'd hit File, and you go like that. And in those three little bars, one of the most useful ones for a lot of you in this room is going to be three little bars, free up space. And what that will do is it will tell you what is already on your device that's been backed up to Google Photos, and you can go ahead and you can clear it out. So believe it or not, iCloud, iPhoto, whatever you want to do, I'm going to see if I can put this on the screen so I can show you. See, when I go to Google Photos here, it just puts out the big Google Photos logo. So I'm going to double show you real quick. This is a bit difficult to show, but I think I can do it. So if I go ahead and come on. Let me get this to play. Oh, I said Google. God. You don't want to say Google around Google thing. If I go in, it will allow me to free up space, and I'm going to show you. It's saying it's too soon to free up space because my phones have not been there enough, but it will allow you to delete all the pictures that have already been backed up to Google Photos, which is a really cool trick. It's just my phones are being stupid right now. So if you click right there, you can say free up space, and it'll say, hey, look, all these pictures have already been backed up. We're going to upload them to Google Photos so you can have them in the cloud, but they won't be on your device. And that's if you have a 16 gig device or a smaller device there, you'll still be able to go about doing that. Does that make sense to us all? So we're going to click there, and it's all on your sheet. It's very difficult to show on the screen. I would love to show it on the screen if it wants to behave. The trouble is Google Photos does not like showing its interface on the screen. I'll try one more time here. Let me get this here. But I'm going to go ahead, and here's my Google Photos. I want to show you this because I think it's important. The problem is Google does not like being presented anymore. And I've already written to them and I said, that's not cool. I know. Okay, so let me get it on my phone. I'm going to show you via me taking a picture of my phone with my iPad showing you out on the screen because elsewise it doesn't show. Okay. No, I hit the wrong button. Bad. It's okay. I know, I hit the wrong button. Let me just fix my button. New screen recording. Button hit. Done. Okay. So, we're good here. So I got this right here. Just to show you. I want to show you on here, because this is where I take the majority of my photos. So I've got these little three bars right here. You see the three bars? In the top corner? No. That's why you don't see the three bars. Because they're not there. I was like, do you see the little three bars? I can see them on my screen, but you can't see them. Now you will see them. Now I've got to start a third recording. File, new screen recording. For some things, it's actually easier to do these classes in Celebrity Central. Okay. This is important, so I want to show you. I want to make sure we can all clearly see what's going on here. Okay. Here we go. So, now we're good, right? You can see what's going on behind me? Yeah. Okay, so you see the little three bars right there? Yeah. Upper left-hand corner. If I click there, you see it says free up space. If I click on free up space, it's going to analyze the pictures that have already been backed up. And once it analyzes the pictures that have already been backed up, it's going to say, okay, you've got 30 pictures on this phone that have already gone ahead and been backed up. Let me let it think for a minute. It's going to say, do you want to remove those? And you can say remove those, and it gives you the space back on your device. So that is something that iCloud can't do on Apple devices, but Google Photos can do on Apple devices. I find that to be very interesting, and it just has to analyze my photos for a bit, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a minute. So what you do is you install Google Photos on all of your mobile devices that you have, so be it your iPhone, your iPad, your Android tablet, some infinite display is calling your iPhone, your iPad, your Android tablet. I'm going to let it show that, and I'm going to show you that error, the good error that comes up in a minute, and it's going to synchronize it. It will work cross-platform, unlike iCloud. So if your wife happens to have an Android phone, you can still share all of your photos with them. This is the thing about the big difference between Google and Apple is Google is a fully cross-platform solution, unless you're using Windows Phone or BlackBerry, and they really don't care about you. That's the truth. I keep making that joke, but nobody really cares about Windows Phone and BlackBerry users. So it's not just me, it's Google too. So understand, when we're talking about here, this is going to get all of your photos uploaded from your devices. So part one of the class is what's a backup. Part two is how you back up from your mobile devices, but let's be honest, only the last year or so of photos are on these guys, correct? You have a lot more photos on your computer, in iPhoto, in Photos, in different things like that. So the third part of the class is, okay, how do we get the pictures that are on our computer up into Google Photos? So if you have your sheet, you're going to flip it over. And we're going to talk about that. I want to make sure nobody has any questions about the phones or tablets. Now, we're going to set yours up, so don't worry about it. You come by, we'll set up your phone or tablet, but I want to make sure that that makes sense. We install it, we tell it to back up. We don't want it to back up on cellular if we don't have an unlimited plan, and we're golden. Does that make sense to everybody? It's going to back up. Don't worry about what we do with the photos yet once they're backed up. Let me see if, I think it has allowed me to do the free up space thing, and I'll show you. So I've hit free up space. It's looking for items that are already backed up. And if it comes up, I'll show you exactly what's going on there. So we're going to talk about the computers. On the back side, there is no real application for your computers for accessing and viewing your photos. There is a website, which is photos.google.com, which is what all of your computers should be on in front of you. And that's where we're going to be for the remainder of the class. So go ahead and shake your mouse. It's going to ask for your password on your computer. I will give it to you. It's very easy. It's in one word, I love Google.
Where are we going to put that?
Shake the mouse. And, if it's not asking, then you've done a good job shaking the mouse. You're good. If you see my photos, if you see this screen right here that you see there, then we are okay. I love Google, and we should get that right there on the screen. You're doing beautiful on time. This is great. This is the main interface for Google Photos. You let me know if you, and there's no capital, lowercase, it's just straight I love Google. Those of you that are in, you're good, you're in. I love Google, enter. I-L-O-V-E-G-O-O-G-L-E. Okay, and that's good. We want to be all the way up at the top. Now, so, I want you to pay attention to your screen. I-L-O-V-E-G-O-O-G-L-E. You guys got it? We're good? Okay, I want to make sure, because I can't see through computers, unfortunately. It's actually very cool what's coming up with Celebrity. You're going to be able to go to different rooms, like the bridge and the engine room, and point your phone at the wall, and then you'll be able to see through them. This is not a joke. This is dead serious. It's called X-ray vision. I-L-O-V-G-O-G-L-E. Okay, so I want us to all look at this interface, because this is what we're going to be in for the next hour. Do you see that big white box that surrounds everything? You see at the top of it is the thing that says Google Photos right there?
Yeah.
And then you get an R in the upper right-hand corner?
Yeah.
And then you see white along the bottom as well? We do not leave, well, you see photos along the bottom. We do not leave that white box. We don't type anything in the address bar or do anything like that. Does that make good sense? Because if we leave that white box, then I have to come around and I have to reset what we're doing. What you're looking at right now is photos.google.com, or if you don't want to type that in, you can just Google Photos, and you get it. And these are my most up-to-date photos. I loaded this a couple minutes before the class, so the pictures of the three of you, the 3 pictures I took, are not there. But on my screen, I'm just going to reload it. I don't want everybody reloading at the same time, but I have my pictures that are there. So you'll see my most recent pictures showing there and everything like that. So we go to photos.google.com after we set it up on our phones or our tablets. And I forgot to mention one thing. When you set it up on your phones or tablets, remember I said it's going to do photos first, and then special photos, and then videos. It is going to take a long time to back things up, unless you are fortunate enough to come across something magical and like a unicorn like this. This is a 194 meg connection by a 90 meg connection. We came across it in a bar in Lisbon, Portugal, and in about 4 minutes, me and Wandy had our photos backed up from the last month. This is a unicorn. You're not going to find something that's got a 90 meg upload.
I've got 260 uploaded. We have a holiday
Should
home
I come? Where's your holiday home?
up in the north of England
Yeah.
with straight through.
I think I'm gonna come stay with you, Gordon.
Faster
I'm gonna
than download.
come stay with you, Gordon. I think that'll be fun.
Seriously, it's faster than
We
download.
can run a little server in the back room. Mine some Bitcoin for the Russian mafia. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Okay. But that is a rarity. It's going to take weeks to upload all of your pictures. Maybe not Gordon's, because he's got a magical connection, but for the rest of the UK, you know your connections are pretty crap. Gordon, BT doesn't run your internet, do they?
No.
Okay, good.
Not at all.
Because BT stands for Broken Telecom. Okay, continuing on. So this is the main page of Google Photos. We've signed in with our same Google account we've signed in with on our phone, but now we need to get all the pictures from our computer uploaded to Google Photos. Now you've got iPhoto, I know you said earlier, and some of you have iPhoto. Some of you may have the precursor to Google Photos called Picasa. You ever had Picasa back in the day? So the original name for Google Photos was Picasa for Web, but Picasa did not have the brand recognition that Google did. This was the evolution of Picasa. So it's really just evolving on Picasa. So do you see the little 3 bars in the upper left-hand corner? I want you to hit those little 3 bars in the upper left-hand corner. And you'll see something that says App Downloads on the bottom when you hit those 3 little bars. I want you to go ahead and click on App Downloads. It's there. Now, you don't need to do the download. I'm going to do the download. But it will say, back up and sync a lifetime of photos. So you can back up and sync a lifetime of photos. So, on your computer at home, or computers, it does not matter, you will hit that download button. Don't hit it right now, but on your computer at home now, if it's a Windows computer, it'll automatically download the Windows file. If it's a Mac computer, it will automatically download the Mac file. It's smart enough to know what computer you're using. If you're using a Windows computer, please don't use the absolute worst thing on a Windows computer. It's called Internet Explorer. Oh, God. Use Google Chrome. Much better. But that's a story for another time. But it'll still get there. So we hit download, and now I want to show you what happens once you hit download. So pay attention to my screen. I'm going to show you in the best way I can. And this will be me zooming into the screen. It won't be a... you'll see it a lot clearer. So I'll open it, and then you need to install it. On a Mac, it's a lot easier to install than on a Windows computer. I'm going to see if I can zoom in. Let me enable the zoom real quick. New computer. Let me see where my accessibility is. And zoom. Okay. So all I need to do is drag that back up and sync from Google into applications on a Mac. On a Windows computer, it'll be an exe file, and you install it, and then you open it up. So I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to zoom in about 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. There we go. So it's not going to live as a program. It's going to live for Mac users. It's going to live up here in the upper right-hand corner where all your stuff lives. And for Windows users, it'll be in the bottom right-hand corner. It's going to say, access your photos anytime, anywhere, back up an unlimited number of high-quality videos and photos from your computer, camera, and storage cards, and view them all from any device free with Google Photos. And I'm going to say, get started. It's going to ask us to sign in. Sign in with my account. RICHARD. In the Gmail class, I'm going to give you all my email address. It sounds strange, but I do it every single cruise. And usually people contact me. You're welcome to find me on Facebook, but you might see some weird things there. Gordon knows that very well. He knows I enjoy going to IKEA. We're Facebook friends, long time. Okay.
Or the Apple Store.
Or the Apple Store. Or I take my IKEA food to the Apple
Or
Store.
Hansa.
Okay. Oh, the Hansa, yeah. Okay, so they've combined Google Photos and Google Drive into one piece of software, but You don't need to worry about that right this second. It's just gonna say backup photos and videos, and yes, that's what we want to do, is backup photos and videos, and I'm just trying to figure out where the next button is there. I can't see it. There should be a next, oh, there we go. I zoomed in a little too much. And then it's going to ask you a very important question that I don't know how many of us know the answer to. Where are your photos and video on your computer? Ha 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 ha. This is the one time I was telling someone during lunch, this is my favorite time of the cruise, is to say this last phrase I'm about to say. For most of you, your photos and videos on your computer are in what we call a fustercluck. Thank you!
That's true.
It's a fustercluck. They're all over. Some are in your My Documents folder, some are in your Downloads folder, some are in My Pictures folder. They are everywhere. They are not organized. There are duplicates absolutely everywhere, correct? For most of us.
Mm-hmm.
What's very cool is Google Photos is automatically, oh, this did the same thing it did last, we can still see it. Google Photos is going to automatically back up all of your stuff. It's going to automatically pull it, it's not going to get duplicates, and it's going to organize it for you as well. Now, I had a mess of photos, and it organized it for me, and I actually re-downloaded the organization. So for most of you, it's in your My Pictures folder on a Windows computer. If you're using a Mac computer, your Photos library, your iPhotos library is inside of your My Pictures folder, so that's okay. So you're going to choose where your pictures are. It's going to do a good job taking a good selection. Once you plug in this program, if you plug in an SD card, it's going to say, can we use the SD card to back up, can we back up your photos from your SD card? And you say, okay. And then every time you plug in that SD card, it will make incremental backups. So I don't use SD cards because I shoot everything with my phone, but every time you plug in your SD card, it'll make an incremental backup of what's changed since the last time. Does that make sense there? And here's where it gets cool. It will even give you the option with the SD card, when you plug it into your computer, it will back it up, as well as copy the SD card to your computer, as well as then put it on your hard drive, and guess what you've got automatically? 3, 2, 2. 3, 2, 2. Automatically, just by plugging in the SD card. That's
the three
the 3 backups.
yeah, which are
So computer, hard drive, Google Photos, 2 locations, location of the computer and the hard drive, Google Photos,
Right.
and 2 different backup types.
right.
So we're following the 3-2-2 rule, and that's the way to do it. And we can say, you know, if we wanted to add, how many of you have like an external hard drive that's filled with photos? You can hit choose folder, and you can put in your external hard drive if you wanted to. I zoomed in way too much here. Let's go out. So you can hit choose folder, and you can put in your external hard drive. Like, let's say that install backup thing happens to be my external hard drive. I hit go. The one thing you don't want to do is choose your whole C drive, because then it's going to back up all the little icons and everything that's on your. You can do it. And here's the cool thing. I have backed up over multiple computers, over multiple phones, over everything like that, about 530,000 photos and videos. I don't think that's that many. But I have photos ranging back 20 years that I can search and I can find very quickly. And that's what we're going to do next. Yes?
Can you back up from a DVD?
Yeah. From what?
From a DVD.
Yeah, you can plug in a DVD. So you just hit, now understand the DVD is a slow medium, so it's going to take a little while to read all the stuff on the DVD. So my personal recommendation would be copy the stuff from the DVD to your desktop first, and then choose the folder you copy it to. Because DVDs are a little shaky, so that's how I've done it before. So you can back up from a CD or a DVD just by taking it and plugging it in, and then copy that folder, and there should be a DCIM folder on the CD or the DVD. Copy your desktop, tell it where it is, done. If there are multiple duplicates, it is not going to help you clean your duplicates, but it will not upload the duplicates to Google Photos, if that makes sense. So it won't upload the duplicates. It's not going to help completely clean everything, but it won't go ahead and upload them. Understand, if you thought the phone took a long time to back up everything, guess what? The computer is going to take even longer. Yes?
When I improve my photos, I add an extra digit or two to the end, showing that I've improved it. Will it back up those improvements also?
So what are you doing the improvements with?
Well,
That's an important question.
what am I doing them with?
What are you doing with Photoshop, or what are you doing?
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's
so
say
you're doing it with Photoshop? Yes. So if it has a different file name,
Yeah.
it actually analyzes it down to the bit level.
Okay, the
So-
file name would be the
So
same.
the file
first
name,
numbers,
yeah,
and
that's
then it
fine.
would have,
But
like,
it's going to know that there's been, it checks every single pixel and sees if it's a different file or not.
Okay.
So it is, and once it's in Google Photos, you can make duplicates of it, which is something we're going to see in a couple minutes' time. So what I want to make sure, before we move on, because all of what we've done so far prepares us for what we're going to do now. Yes? Yeah, go ahead.
The question I want to ask you anyway. My understanding is iCloud
Yep.
keeps a reduced quality of photograph on your phone.
So the answer to your question is iCloud can keep a reduced quality of photograph to your phone. It takes a lot of settings to be able to do that,
Okay.
in my personal opinion.
The question is really, where are my high quality photographs? Are they on my Mac? That's which I suppose they would be.
That's where they would be. So you would dump your photos directly to your Mac. So I'll give you an example. You dump them directly to your Mac, and before you dump, so your iPhoto, right? Let's get this clear. Your iPhoto or your Photos app is still going to be your repository for your high quality photos.
Right.
You're going to back up your iPhoto or your Photos app to that hard drive.
Yeah.
Visually, unless you are printing the picture larger than a 20 by 30 inch, right? That's a big size. Unless you're printing the picture larger than 20 by 30, there is no reason to keep a backup over 16 megapixels. So if you're taking it with a big camera, you can add an additional backup. You can put an additional hard drive if you want to make sure that you have 3 backups in full quality. But this is just as good as full quality for most people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. This
2
is
to 8
yeah.
meg,
This is 16 megapixels. Our phones are shooting in 12 nowadays. So if you're taking pictures majority with your phone or tablets, guess what? We're already there. So here's where go ahead.
Is the Google going to back up any data other than photographs?
So you have the option to do documents and other things as well. That was that option that showed up right there. Google Photos has been well, actually, it's very interesting. Google Photos has gotten so popular that they've integrated Google Drive into Google Photos. Any photos in your Google Drive folder will automatically not count against your data on Google Drive and will upload to Google Photos. You can upload Word and Excel and other files like that to Google Drive as well and use that as a backup.
And if you have that, what's the purpose in having an external hard drive?
What's the purpose of having an external hard drive? Because you're trusting it all in Google. I trust Google, but you're trusting it all in Google. And I think, I understand where you're coming from, and I think there's an important variable, and I brought this. I didn't use this, but I mean, this right here is where I think a lot of the future is going when we're talking about Google. This is a Chromebook. I don't know if you've heard of Chromebooks, but literally all I have to do on here is sign in with my Google account, and as soon as I sign in with my Google account, I have my Google Photo, my Google Drives, all of my documents, everything like that on there. And I think that's where your question was sort of headed, is do you really need that? And it just depends how much you trust it. I'm not at that point yet. I'm not there. But I mean, right, I can take right here, and I've got my Google Photos, I've got everything on there. So I still like to have thing 1 and thing 2, and that's going to be for the foreseeable future that I like to have thing 1 and thing 2, especially as file sizes get even bigger. If phones start putting 25 megapixel cameras on it, you think Google Photos is going to update their thing to 25 megapixels? Of course they are. This is a phone play. This is a phone and tablet play. It is going to help you with the organization, and here's where it gets really cool. I'll show, there's 2 nerds sitting right here. I can tell based on the questions they're asking. I'm going to show you how once we search the photos, we can find the file names, and we can just search for the file names and find the full quality photo on our computers. This is an organization play more than anything else right now. So does that make, this is an organization play, and that's what we're going to do right now, is organization and search. So we're going to,
One question.
yep, go ahead.
Going back to the simplistic side, you've got husband-wife cell phone, husband-wife iPad, you've got a couple of computers in the house. You have to download the app onto each one?
So no, so here's the weird thing. To upload, you need to have the app download. If that device is just a viewing device, like I don't upload anything with my Chromebook. This device is just for viewing. I don't take pictures on it. So if you don't take pictures on your iPad, look, I'm sorry, excuse me for this. If you take pictures on your iPad, you're a little crazy. Okay? She told me she takes pictures on her iPad before the class. Most people take pictures on their iPhone because the camera's far better on their phones than on their tablets. But if you take pictures on your iPad, so on my iPad, I generally just use Google Photos to view it. I don't need to install the application. I can just go to photos.google.com and sign in with my Gmail account. You see where I'm coming from? So you only need to install the application on the things that have your unique photos on them. Does that make sense there? Only the things that have your unique photos on them. Cool? Let's move on to the really crazy part. And this is where it starts getting really cool. So we're all at this screen right here, right? To the left of app downloads, you're going to see a little white arrow. I want you to hit that little white arrow. Now, this is where the class starts to go really interesting. So, Google Photos, we think of, now here's the fun part. You have that sheet, right? And you realize that there's not a third page to the sheet. And that's intentional, because this third page depends on your photos. The reason you're all sitting with my photos right now are so we can all write the third page together. Does that make sense? That's the idea. I want to read something. Let me borrow your sheet just really quick. I want to read you what we're going to spend about 40 minutes doing. There is not an application for your desktop or laptop to browse Google Photos. You can search your photos just like you search Google, and you can even name people. The search function is getting smarter every day, and with every new user, you can search for people, places, things, emojis, written text, and more. Google Photos also has an excellent help section. So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you how the search works. Because when you're talking, so hit that little white arrow right there. And we are in search now. Now, I want you to look at the top of the screen where it says search, and then it says something. You notice that? You need to scroll up to the top. It'll say search, and then it'll say something. Now, you've probably never seen Google actually recommend something for you to search before, but here's where it gets cool. If you ever go to the front page of google.com, you'll see the blank box, and then it'll say search, but then it'll say, I'm feeling lucky, next to it. If you click that, Google's going to try and search what it thinks you're searching for. It sounds crazy. But I always find something interesting when I say I'm feeling lucky. It's almost like going down to the crew bar. Continuing. So, Wandy liked that joke. That was for you, Wandy. So, you'll notice it's got a search, and then it's got a place that it's already recommending. Let's click on that search box together.
Mine is not showing the same picture.
Let's see.
Well,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
You're okay.
Hit
Hit
the
on
search.
this search, the one that says search and something. Yeah.
Okay.
So you're not going to see those first three pictures because I loaded your Google Photos
Yeah.
earlier in the class. And here's the thing. Now it's recommending 3 different searches. And we all have something a little bit different. Mine are, let me click on it. My searches are going to come up in a second. Okay, Universal City, concerts, and baseball. Now, it is finding those searches based on what is in your photos. It's able to scan and understand your photos, which is like, pretty cool. So I can actually scan and understand your photos. And I'm going to show you something a little bit later on, and I just started showing this list, but you'll see, here's some searches here. But the first thing we need to talk about is facial recognition. If you have iPhoto, or you have Photos, or you have Photoshop, or you have any of the other things, you've probably used facial recognition before on your system. If you've never used it, you're about to be open to a whole new world. I want you to click that little, you see the faces there on the screen? Click that little black arrow to the right of the last face. Now, here's a very important thing about facial recognition, and please wait until I finish my statement on this before you make a sigh or a panic, okay? Facial recognition on Google Photos is not available in the United Kingdom. But there's a hack. And that's what we're going to do to all of your devices, and why we want to see them before you leave the ship. The reason it's not available in the United Kingdom is because in the UK, you know, they have very strict child pornography laws and internet laws and stuff like that. And internet-based facial recognition is illegal in the UK unless you can guarantee the person. Yeah, because we hacked you, Gordon, I think. What?
In the UK.
It's in the UK now? As of when? A few days?
Don't know.
Okay.
Maybe
I've
that's
got it
why.
online in the UK.
The facial recognition?
Yeah.
Okay, so you remember that last 2 minutes I just said? Forget that crap. It was, but Gordon, you know, last year it was not available in the UK. We had a tunnel bear around it. So yeah, last year it wasn't available in the UK. But now it is available in the UK, according to Gordon. If not, we're going to make sure you get it when you're on the ship, okay? Because I still don't trust it. So we'll make sure, because I taught this all last summer, and everyone from the UK starts emailing me and going, I don't have facial recognition. I'm like, yeah, you do. I don't have facial recognition. So we're going to make sure you have it. That's fine. That makes me feel better anyway. So we'll do that when you come, you set it up. You'll see I have these people that I've already named. The people that you've got the most pictures of will show up first, and when you open up the Google Photos app and you start doing faces, it's going to ask you to identify the face of you. So we'll put your face first. Even though there's more pictures of my sister in there than me because she likes to take too many damn selfies. She ran out of space on a 128 gigabyte iPhone with 114,000 selfies. I don't know how the hell that happened. And they all got uploaded into my Google Photos library. Okay. So you see these people are named, but if we scroll down, keep scrolling, you might see some people that are not named. Let me see if I can find anybody that I actually know the name of. It's weird. I've got ex-fiance's parents. I've got all kinds of fun stuff here. Just go ahead and click on any one person that's not named. Okay, I found someone that I can do. But here's the important thing. So click on some, keep scrolling down until you find someone without a name. Click on that person.
Okay.
And it's going to ask a question, and I don't want you to answer the question. Yes, Trump's there. Don't ask. So, it's going to ask you a question. I don't want you to answer this question. You see the question that says, who's this?
Yeah.
This is my, so don't type in a name. Julie's principal. No, we don't have to click on anyone just yet. Click on someone who's not named. Anybody who's not named. I don't know. I'll come back to yours in a minute. So, if I click it, it'll say, who's this? This is my personal photo library. Therefore, we're not going to name people because then you're going to mess up my library. But I know who this guy is, so if I click who's this, and I type in just for me, no one follow along, I can type in Oscar, and then done, Oscar's named. Wandy, can you help in just refreshing some of these and getting your photos up because it's being stupid because we're accessing from a lot of people at once? And it's going to name that. So we should all mostly see a search box up on the top now if we clicked on a person. Make sure you click on a person. Click on any person. You know Elsa? No.
No, that's what I clicked on.
Yeah, but I want you to see the search box on the top.
Oh, okay.
And here's the important thing to understand. A Google Photos search is eliminative. What I mean by it's eliminative is until you type in a search, you are looking at all 530,000 of your photos. So in the search box, I want you to go up to the search box and type in Richard. If your computer's acting a little weird, Wandy's going to come around and help in just a minute. R-I-C-H-A-R-D, and we're going to get all the pictures of me. Wandy's going to come over and take a look right there. Give it a few seconds. Understand that we're doing this on about 22 computers at the same time, so on the same Google account. And it's going to find all the pictures of Richard. But here's the thing. We narrowed that down from 500,000 pictures. And we want to get even narrower. So what do we want Richard doing? It's up to you.
Drinking.
Not drinking. We've already done drinking.
Oh,
Eating.
Sleeping.
sleep.
Because you drink and you eat and you sleep.
Okay.
I'm being perfectly honest with you. I have no clue what's about to come up. I usually go safe. Oh, but look.
Sleeping.
Yeah. We got some Richard sleeping there. It's not perfect, but the idea is we're eliminating down and we're figuring out exactly what we wanted to search, and what we want to look for. Wandy, can you take this? So you can go ahead and you've got
That was strange.
what?
It went to Monterey after I typed in Richard sleeping.
That's fine, don't worry about it. We'll get there in a minute. But here's where I want to show you. I want to take it that next step because the cool thing is you can actually take multiple people at once. So I want you to get rid of sleeping and type in Richard and Leslie. L-E-S-L-I-E. That's one of my sisters. Richard and Leslie. And we're going to see pictures of Richard and Leslie. Now here's what I need you to understand. All the pictures of Richard and Leslie also include pictures of Richard. It looks at all the pictures of Richard and all the pictures of Leslie and finds the similar ones that both Richard and Leslie are in. Does that make sense? I want you to understand it's an eliminative search and it's not destructive because this is important to understand with where we're going to go. So if we add any additional things to that search, which is what we're going to do right now, it is just eliminating that down to a smaller number of photos. Does that make sense? So now I want to get a little more specific. We've got Richard and Leslie, and I want to add Richard and Leslie ship, S-H-I-P. And it's going to find Richard and Leslie and a ship.
What do you hit on to get it
Enter.
to go?
Enter, return.
Return.
Yeah, enter / return. And we'll get Richard and Leslie ship, but you see we still have a wide variety of photos. So now I want you to type in Richard and Leslie ship children, and that will eliminate it down to one single photo. Out of 500,000 photos, we are now down to one photo. I think that's pretty damn cool. We're going to take it further, though. Don't worry. We're going to take it even further. Now, I want you to understand, all I ever did was told it who Richard and Leslie were. Google figured out what a ship was and actually automatically found us at a certain age. So we can remove different variables. So you remember we had, let's try something. Experiment real quick. Let's get rid of ship. So let's just go Richard and Leslie children and see what we get. I think we will still get the ship because that is inclusive of Richard and Leslie ship children. But here's Richard and Leslie children without the ship. Now you're going to look at the November 1st, 2015 one. You're going to go, we're not children, but are we on a merry-go-round? Yes, we are. Is Google Photos smart enough to know we're on a merry-go-round? Yeah, it is, because it's not showing up. Oh, Java update. Okay, so that Java update, just say, remind me later. Just click remind me later. Oh, Java update.
That too.
Yeah, just say remind me later. So we've got Richard and Leslie children, and it gets us a different variable. But now we're going to go somewhere a little different. I have another sister whose name is Julie. So if you can, I want you to type in Richard and Julie. Now it's a completely different subset of photos. It's a completely different subset of photos, but you see, Julie. You got to know how not to drink too. No.
Oh.
She's just blaming the ship rocking. It's perfectly stable today. So we've got Richard and Julie, so we can pictures of Richard and Julie. But here's
No children.
where things, no children. So just Richard and Julie. Here's where things start to get a little crazy. You know when you open up your camera on your phone for the first time, it asks, can we use your location to figure out?
Yeah.
So most, if not all of your pictures nowadays have locations on them. And here's where things get interesting. So we can type in Richard and Julie, New York, and it's going to bring down the sample size of Richard and Julie to just Richard and Julie in New York. Type in Richard and Julie, New York, and we get Richard and Julie in New York. Now, here's the cool thing. We talked about the phones knowing how it was in New York, but there's other ways that you'll know that a photo is in New York. How? If your phone doesn't have GPS, the background, but here's something I bet you didn't know happens, is, I'm going to show you something really cool. I love this. I need to stand, don't follow me. I'm just going to show you something a little bit different. I think it was San Francisco it happened. I'm looking for a picture real quick. So I'm actually going to talk you through what I'm doing, but I don't want you to follow me because I don't know exactly where I'm going. I'm looking for a picture right now to explain something to you, okay? This is what I do in Google Photos all the time. I'm like, I want to show you this picture from here and there. I don't remember exactly when or where this picture was taken, but I remember it was in San Francisco on a day that I went to the Science Museum in San Francisco. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for a picture of the Science Museum in San Francisco, and hopefully I can find it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to expand out that whole day. I'm just talking aloud right now. Don't worry about me. San Francisco. That's the aquarium. That was after the museum. But do you remember those cars that drove around and took pictures of the front of people's houses?
Yeah.
I want to show you the evolution of that, because I just have to find the picture. I didn't think it would be that hard. So what's cool is Google's actually, there we go. Google's actually doing something really cool. July 5th, when were we in San Francisco? What date? Okay, here it is. It's in here. So I've expanded out this day. I want to show you something cool. When those cars drove around, they took the Wi-Fi networks that were broadcasting around them and recorded the Wi-Fi networks that were broadcasting that were around them at the time. Where's the thing I want to show you? Should be right here. Just because I want to show you. It doesn't want to let me show you. Okay. I'll find it. It's by the Bison. So when they were going around, they were actually capturing the Wi-Fi networks, and your phone can tell it the GPS location based on the Wi-Fi networks that are around it, even if it can't connect to it. Sounds crazy, I know. But what's really cool is they've now taken that same tech and they've taken a little guy named Juan, they've put a backpack on him, and he now walks around and captures the Google Photos stuff. It's right here. Oh, be quiet. It's right here. I have a picture. We ran into Juan in San Francisco, who they put a backpack on him, and he goes around and it was right around the museum time, San Francisco Park.
Scroll down.
Yeah, hold on. I don't know if I spelled Francisco right. Here we go. So it happened on this day. So it happened on July 6th. So what I can do is I can expand out the entire day, and I will find the picture. There's my mom and my sister. Where's Juan? Here's Juan. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that's the new Google Street View. They actually strap it to the back of a person. Now understand, out of 500,000 pictures, I found that photo live just by thinking of where it was taken, found a photo that was also taken there, and expanded out the whole day. And this thing is now, they're mapping Disney World, they're mapping mountains, and in the Faroe Islands, if you've ever heard of the Faroe Islands, they actually have something called Google Sheep View, where they have attached one of these to the back of a sheep. But here's the important thing when we're talking about this. Not only does this capture pictures and GPS location, but it's capturing the Wi-Fi networks that are broadcasting around, and it can figure out when you take a picture, it shows which Wi-Fi networks are around, and it can find your location via that as well, which is what's really cool. Now, we've got Richard and Julie, New York, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to get a little more specific. Wait. Richard and Julie, New York, snow. That's what I want you to type in. S-N-O-W. And it is going to find pictures and video of Richard and Julie in New York in the snow. Now, here's something important. About a year ago, when I started teaching this class, there was only one picture. So there was only one picture. Now, I didn't add any more pictures, but you see it's noticed more pictures because the algorithm gets smarter over time. So as you use Google Photos, you make it smarter for everyone else. Does that make sense? So you're actually making it smarter for everyone else. And I'm going to show you some really crazy stuff in a few minutes, but it's got the photos as well as a video. Now the question is, okay, if it can identify people, can it also identify animals? It can also identify animals, and the cool thing is, of course it can. So let's go ahead, and I want you to go to the search box, and I want you to type boxer. Get rid of everything else that's there, B-O-X-E-R. Now what is a boxer? It's a dog.
Or it's a human being who boxes.
Or it's a human being who boxes, and we're going to get there. You'll see the pictures of the boxer. Let me get it. It's an old dog.
Oh, he's up there.
So it's an older dog. But you can see the boxer, and if you scroll down a little bit, you'll actually see Mike Tyson there too. You'll see my sister in Madame Tussauds Whack Museum with, I think that's Mike Tyson. We got Mike, no, that's someone. I don't know, maybe it's Mike. Yeah, it's Mike Tyson before he got his dumb face tattoo. Basically, it's not Mike Tyson. But I can go through, and here's the cool thing. I can also look at comparatives of dogs. So we have boxer on the top. I want you to go up to the top and type in boxer and Westie, W-E-S-T-I-E. And we get a boxer and Westie together. So we got the boxer and the West Highland Terrier together. Now some people ask me dumb questions like, does it work with cats? And my response is no, because cats have no soul.
Daisy would be unhappy with you.
I'm incredibly allergic to cats, therefore, plus the breeds of cats are either with hair or hairless, so it will actually find a hairless cat, and I think what's really funny, if any of you ever sailed with Captain Kate before, one of our celebrity captains, she has a cat on the ship, and it's a hairless cat, so nobody's allergic to it, and she takes her cat for a walk sometimes, and it's just like,
Very Egyptian,
I don't know. Captain Johnny on Royal Caribbean has a motorcycle. He rides around the ship. It's really weird that some of these captains have. But I digress. Juan, you just load any other page, CNN or something like that. It'll get there. Trust me. I digress. Let's go somewhere, and I want to show you something really cool. Now, we need to type in what I'm about to say exactly, or else you're going to find really weird pictures. We're going to type in Richard, Halloween, Orlando. and then go back to Photos. Richard Halloween. Should be there.
No results.
Huh.
No results.
This is interesting.
Do we need to capitalize?
Nope, I'm getting no results either.
Well,
We might go with something else. Well, this is interesting.
Move on.
No, it means someone messed with something
About
last cruise.
Richard Halloween without Orlando.
No, don't do that. Dangerous.
Yeah, you're right.
Let's just go Orlando Halloween.
Interesting, yeah.
We'll figure out what's going on. Just type in Orlando Halloween, because Richard Orlando Halloween doesn't want to exist. Richard Halloween Orlando. We're going to go with. No, hold on. Just Halloween Orlando, sorry. It means someone deleted something last cruise when they were playing with the class, and I'll figure it out later. It's in my trash box. But here's the important thing. This is what I want to talk to you about. What is the day of Halloween? What date is Halloween? October 31st.
got all kinds of.
September 26th. Here's the very interesting thing. Just go ahead. You should see the guy cutting the pumpkin. All right? Is that the first one you see when you type in Halloween Orlando? The guy with the head. Go ahead and click on it. I'm going to figure out what's happening to Richard Halloween Orlando later. But if we go ahead and click on that guy, I want to show you something really cool. Click on the guy's head there. That guy with the pumpkin. So just go Halloween Orlando, and you'll see that right there. So obviously we know how it knows Orlando, but how does it know Halloween? It can actually understand the context of photos. So it knows that pumpkins have to do with Halloween, and Orlando understands the context. And it also knows, you might know this other application, it's a little application, nobody's really heard of it, it's called Google Maps. That's integrated directly into Google Photos as well, and if you move your mouse towards the upper right-hand corner of the photo, you'll see a little eye. Do you see a little eye, like the letter I? Click on it, and it's going to open up all the information on that photo. So I can see what it was taken with and exactly where it was taken. And my phone has the interpretation of knowing that Halloween Horror Nights was happening at Universal Studios Florida on that exact night, puts it together and figures out, even though it wasn't Halloween, it was a month before Halloween, it knows that. Tell me that iPhoto can tell you that. It can't. Tell me that any other piece of software can really do that. And I want to understand, this is not a setup. Now, normally it pulls up a picture of me with Halloween in Orlando, but something happened. I'll investigate that later on why it's doing that. But now I have to tell you a story about donuts, because why not? Now, how the Google Photo Class originally came to be, we're going to click back one. I want you to go to the search box, and I want you to type in donut, D-O-N-U-T, D-O-U-G-H-N-U-T, it does not matter. How this class originally came to be is I was sitting with the Future Cruise sales team. I had helped them with something, and they took me out to dinner in the Sushi on 5. I personally do not like fish, and I do not like fish that are not cooked, even more than I do not like fish. So Sushi on 5 is not my thing. So they ordered like some eel. Just type in donut. No, not donut. Donut. Yeah. D-O-N-U-T. Yeah, not donut. But how this came to be is I was like, they ordered eel. And I was like, eel is disgusting.
No,
I think-
Oh my God, it's delicious.
Okay, well, it's disgusting. We're about to go there. And then they said, no, the stuff that you eat is disgusting. So I happened to go looking for a donut. A specific donut that I ate in a... Uh-oh, you went outside the box.
I don't know how. I'm an
Okay.
AOL person.
You're an AOL person. You're forgiven for now. Just type in donut there. And it's automatically found all the pictures of donuts. And these are pictures of donuts over time. But as I was getting back to my story, I said that eel is disgusting. And they said the stuff that you eat as an American is disgusting. And I said, like what? And they said, like that stuff you eat at the fair. So I went to the fair and I had a donut once. And I know the location of the fair. So right after donut, I want you to type in West Palm Beach. And I will get the pictures of the donut that I had in West Palm Beach, which is a Krispy Kreme bacon cheeseburger
Oh.
donut.
Oh, yummy.
Oh, I like eel. I'm like, this is a crispy, it's got two full Krispy Kreme donuts. They have not sliced the donut in half. There are two full donuts. Do you know why? It's called donut structural integrity. It must have donut structural integrity, so you need two donuts. Go ahead and click on one of those pictures of the donut. Wandy, if I put that in front of you, would you eat it?
No.
No.
Lies.
No.
Lies. Lies.
What would you pay?
I'd like the donut, but not what's inside it.
What do you mean? It's just a bacon cheeseburger inside of there. It's okay. But
with icing on.
yeah, glaze. We call it glaze, not icing. It's okay. It's glaze. But here's the cool thing. They were like, eel's disgusting. I'm like, that's disgusting. But here's why I wanted you to click on that picture. If you look in the upper right-hand corner, when you shake your mouse, you will see a little, 3 little dots with 2 lines connecting them. Do you see that? Move your mouse, you'll see, it might be in the wrapper, but you'll see 3 little dots with 2 lines connecting them.
Yeah.
You click right there, and you can share your photo directly from Google Photos. You type in someone's email address, you send it to Facebook, you send it anywhere. And here's the cool thing. It's already uploaded to Google Photos, so it's just going to send them a link to the photo. And you can do that at one time with up to 15,000 photos. So you can share up to 15. And the thing is, there's no limit, not like your AOL account, which you attach a file and it says no thank you. But you don't need to attach a file, you don't need to do anything. So if you want to send a whole bunch of pictures. Now I'm going to go back to my friend right here who likes iCloud. Let's talk about iCloud for a second. Let's say you wanted to share some pictures with people on iCloud, right?
Yeah.
You pay for extra iCloud storage, am I correct in that assumption? You want to share 1 gigabyte of pictures with me in iCloud. I only have 5 gigs of storage that I get for free. It takes a gig from you and a gig from me to store those photos. So I fill up my iCloud storage with the photos that you've shared with me. Here, you can share an unlimited number of photos. People can, when you send a link to someone for those photos, they can add their photos back to that original album as well, which is what's really cool. So you can go in and you can share and share alike. I want to show you what some of the other buttons do, but I want you to not press them, okay? Because then we get 1,000 duplicate photos. You'll see I have this little thing, which you were talking about editing photos. You can actually edit photos right inside of Google Photos. It has a really good photo editor. Right inside of Google Photos. The reason we don't edit photos during this class is it's destructive and I have to go back and undo 23 photo edits after every single class. If I didn't, and she could do it anyway.
Is that similar to iCloud Edit?
What?
Is that sort of similar?
Similar to iCloud Edit, yes.
Okay.
Keeps the changes, tracks changes and all that. You have the little zoom lens where you can zoom it in. You have the little eye, which we saw before, gives you the information on the photo. You have a garbage can, which throws it out. And then you have those 3 little dots. I want you to click on the 3 little dots. I'm going to get her out of the edit mode. Hey, click on the 3 little dots. That's fine. Hit done. And then 3 little dots. Done. 3 little dots. Here's the cool thing. 3 little dots. Yep, I'll get you in 2 seconds. No, you didn't lose it. You just went full screen.
Oh, right.
Hit the 3 little dots right there. And that will allow you to download, rotate, add to album, add to shared album, archive. You can do all these different things. Now understand, I am not showing you the entirety of Google Photos today. That would take another 5 or 6 hours. The goal is, I'm giving you enough rope to hang yourself. I think that's the phrase. I'm giving you enough rope for you to jump in and really play. And I want to show you a couple more little features that I really like because we're actually doing really good on time. Because usually I'm usually 10 minutes later than this by now. So I want us to click back on the little arrow right there, upper left-hand corner. And you see the search box, right? Delete everything from the search box. So just get rid of the stuff from the search box. And here's where this gets cool. You can also view your photos based on everywhere you have been in the world. Now this is the point where I get to make everyone in the room jealous. Because I've been to more places than you have. Okay, guaranteed. I've only been around for 30 years, but I've been on ships for 6 years. I've been to places most people couldn't even dream of going. I don't know. St. Petersburg! Then 11 days later, St. Petersburg! But I don't need to be on the shore excursion to go outside. Yeah, so, okay. But if we scroll down, you see where it says the locations. It'll say like Bay Lake, does it say Bay Lake, Anaheim? Is it the same for everyone? Click where it says Show More on the bottom. And it will show... What? Show...
Yeah.
Yeah, underneath, yeah, it'll say Show More. No, under the places, it'll say Show More. Not that Show More. We're going to go to that Show More next.
I'm sorry.
That one.
Thank you.
And it's going to show you all of your places.
Your AOL person has cut that.
Oh, that's that church. Look at the steps.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, we should have got up there.
Oh, no wonder.
Want some more?
Thank you.
Oh, okay, but you'll see that we've got everything laid out and organized, and I can scroll through over time, because here's the thing, as a crew member, I don't go to a place once. I mean, we're not going to Madeira once. We are going to Madeira for the next 3 voyages after this. Madeira is like, we went to Madeira last cruise, and we don't go back to Lisbon for our next 2 cruises, but we go back to Madeira and Tenerife, and the next cruise we go to Gran Canaria. So sometimes what I'll do is I will go out, click on a location. I'll show you, I'll give you a simple concept. Let's go ahead, what's near the top? What's near the top? Let's say Chessie. You see Chessie near the top?
Yeah, sure.
Uh-huh. Chessie is a wonderful place. Why Chessie is a wonderful place is Chessie pretends to be Paris, but it's not Paris, which is wonderful, because Paris is the worst place on the planet Earth, in my opinion.
Don't let the French hear you
You
say
lived
that.
there for 8 years? Did you enjoy it?
No, I said don't let the French hear you say that.
Oh, don't let the French hear me say that.
Paris.
Really? Have you been?
Yeah.
Yeah, many times.
I think it's dirty. I got mugged there and other stuff. I have a negative opinion due to that.
It's got worse.
So it's gotten a lot worse. It's very seedy. It's not a place I would voluntarily go back to. But one of the best things in the world was when I went to Chessie after I went to Paris, because Chessie is the home to Disneyland Paris. It's not really Paris.
It's like Disneyland, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I loved is when I went to Disneyland Paris and I went to Chessie, in Chessie and Disneyland Paris, everyone has to be nice to you.
I think I'd like that place too.
It was wonderful. After getting robbed in the underground in Paris, in the Louvre, in a corner,
Oh, what a shame.
no good. So,
Lots of police in Paris.
Yeah.
Did you know you got robbed?
what? I figured that a couple minutes after, yeah.
Right after.
Yeah.
Oh.
Not a fan. But Chessie has Disneyland Paris, so very happy with that. So the cool thing is we can sort these things out over time and everything like that. We should see the search box at the top again, because I want to talk about one last really important thing. I'm going to spend a lot of time on this because I think this is really cool. Because this is what you cannot do. It should go there. Give it a second. It'll get there. This is what you cannot do with iPhoto or the other stuff. And honestly, I'm going to show you how to get here, but then I'm going to drive because I don't want everybody pulling these things down because they'll break. Go ahead and clear out your search box. I just want to show you where it is. So clear out your search box, and you'll see where the first show more thing is, under movies. You clicked that before. Google Photos will do something really cool called creations, and this is what I want to leave you with today, is with creations. So you see where it says creations? This, hit show more, the first show more. You gotta have nothing there. Show more under movies, and then hit creations. You need to click on the search box, and okay, watch my screen real quick. I think things are being a little stupid because we're going to all try and hit that at the same time, but hit show more and hit creations. Just pay attention to the screen because this is cool. Remember how we said that Google Photos is going to ask for permission to send you notifications? To send you notifications that things are happening and different things like that. Just pay attention here, don't pay attention there, because at this point, I've pulled down so much stuff here that Google Photos is getting angry with me. This is called creations. When you take a burst of photos or you take a set of photos during the day, it is going to automatically create things for you. That's what's really cool. So I'll give you an example. I took these pictures by the park, by the lake. It's a sequence of photos I took right by sunset, and you notice the ducks?
Oh, they're swimming.
Swim slowly across the lake. But I'll show you some even cooler ones. I gotta find, so it'll automatically make, you look at that. I did not take that photo in black and white. I will show you one of my favorite creations that I did not take. This was my old assistant took this. Elsa, my old assistant, took this. This was a panorama that was taken in the Vatican, but it wasn't a panorama. It was just a series of photos. It stitched it together into a panorama and automatically turned part of it in color and part of it in black and white.
You didn't ask it to do
I
it.
didn't ask it to do it.
Did it.
And it is non-destructive. It makes a new photo. I want you to be very aware. It makes a new thing, so it's not messing with your original, to give you an idea. But I can go through, I showed you the charging rhino. Let me show you some videos, because some of the videos are really, really cool. Is it'll actually make, so this, I've never seen what I'm about to show you. Like, I'm just pulling this up for the first time now. I don't know what's about to show up, but we went to Comic-Con. I know this is from Comic-Con. And it's added audio. It's actually really quite cool. This is from, so I'll give you an example. I went to this like trade show thing. It's called Comic-Con, if you've ever seen it before. And this has put my Comic-Con day together with all of the videos and all the photos in Comic-Con, added music, added all these things to it. Oh, I'm probably going to come up in a minute. Riding a broom. Hopefully not. Good. But it put this together, and I can go ahead and share this on Facebook, share this anywhere. I did not do this. So whenever
They
you
notified you?
yeah, it'll pop up and it'll say, here's another one that's really cool. A friend of mine is in the show, they have a Frozen show that's in Disney, and I took a whole bunch of video and a whole bunch of photos within about a 45-minute time frame. Google Photos automatically, no, I don't want that, I want this. Let me stop that. Google Photos automatically made that, well, made something. Here we go. So it automatically made this. Now this is out of a whole bunch of videos and photos I took within a very short period of time. So it realized that that was something important and automatically stitched it together into a photo, added audio and everything. And this is actually, this is the friend that I have. He's Olaf. But I just took a whole bunch of video and Google Photos automatically edited that together. So it's going to pop up and say, hey, Google's made a new creation for you. And when it makes a new creation, I think this is the most important thing to understand. All I did was took these photos and videos on my phone. It doesn't matter what the phone is. And as soon as they got up, and then it's got the fireworks show thing from later that night.
That's amazing.
And I didn't touch anything. The cool thing is, because now we take photos, but we never edit them because we take so many because they're digital and stuff like that. This has the intelligence to edit your photos for you. And I think it's, yeah, it's like 4 seconds from done. It'll edit your photos, edit your videos, all of that stuff for you, automatically loop it and all those other things. So here's the thing. Going back to the beginning, I think we should go back to the beginning again. What I did is once I've got my stuff on Google Photos, then it integrates into your house. Now I'm sure you have an Alexa. If you have an Alexa, now Alexa's not Google. Google has something called, they have something called the Google Assistant, which is Google's version of Alexa. And what I've done is once I get my things in Google Photos and once it understands, and I have what's plugged into my TV is called a Chromecast. Similar to an Apple TV, but it's Google's version of an Apple TV. And I can just query anything I want. So I can say, okay, Google, show me photos of Richard and Julie in New York in the snow on the TV. And then it should find.
My apologies.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
I know. Okay, Google, show me photos of Richard and Julie, New York snow on TV. An extra word didn't belong there. It should work. And then
I think
she's okay. Here we go.
Showing your photos of Richard and Julie New York snow on TV.
Now, when I showed this in the beginning of the class, you had no idea how this was working. But now this makes a lot more sense, doesn't it? And look.
Wow.
Wow.
This is how everything comes full circle.
Wow.
Do that with iPhoto.
Now, what is the device called, you said?
So this is called the Google Home.
It's the same as Alexa, only it's Google.
It's Google's Alexa. So it's and you know, for Alexa you say Alexa. For Google you say okay Schmoogle. I say Schmoogle. Yeah.
Do it.
Yes. If you have an Android phone, you can actually have the Android phone be your OK Google as well. I don't want it to do it right now. But you can have the Android phone do it as well and then put it at the TV. But you can also, just so you understand, you can go on your iPhone, you can open the Google Photos app, and you can just type something in and it will automatically show on the TV. That's why I had to show it with the stupid tripod and stuff like that. Yeah.
Going back to the very basics in the beginning, what happens to your folders?
Aha! So remember your folders that you're all organized and nice and you got all that stuff organized. So anybody got that? Google doesn't care. That's a simple
That's
answer.
what I started.
It don't care. This is all linear. Newest at the top, oldest at the bottom. But it gets information and interprets information from photos that you couldn't elsewise get. And here's the last thing I want to leave with. And I want to be very clear. Why is this free? how is this free? Do you remember Juan with his backpack that I showed you taking pictures everywhere? When you use Google Photos, you become Juan. When you're taking pictures, you're helping them build their database of information. All of your pictures are yours. Something that's very, very cool, though, is if you have sent something to a friend in Gmail before, or in Google Photos, that happens to be in one of your pictures, it's going to recommend, hey, you were out with Wandy today, you want to send him the pictures? It's not going to say that to Wandy unless you guys have taken pictures together and you've sent him something before. So don't think that if I just take a picture of you, it's going to identify you. Now, here's the dirty secret. Could it probably do that? Yeah. But there's a privacy policy and all that. So Google is giving you free storage in exchange for using what it interprets from your photos for its own artificial intelligence smartness in the future. I feel safe with that. Since I feel safe saying that you should feel safe. Does that make sense in that assumption? Because I have 500,000 photos in there. Now, would I be using this if it was Yahoo or AOL or Hotmail or anyone else that I didn't know how they made money? Probably not. I know how Google makes money. I know they're not selling my photos. I know all they're doing is, remember how you said the background? I think you said the background. If my phone has GPS on it, I take a similar picture to his phone, but it identifies the background. It gets the GPS location from my phone and allows it to do it. So this is going to GPS the whole world just by people's photos. Here's what I want you to do, though. Digest this. I threw a lot at you today. We did an hour and a half on a single app. I want you to digest it and come back with questions. We are also going to set up your devices with Google Photos. If you can, while you're out in port, if you don't have a Gmail account while you're out in port, you got your cellular data, please try and make a Gmail account. Just go to gmail.com and do it because it's going to want to set it up a lot of times. It's going to want a text message. And remember your password for your Gmail account because that's kind of important.
Why do we need to do it out in port?
Because it's going to ask you to tie it to your phone number. Because if you forget your password for Apple, it sends it to your email account. But where do they send your password if you forget your password for your email account? To your phone. So it wants to verify your phone number. So if you ever forget the password, it can send the password reset thing to your phone. I'm going to have you do one more thing that's going to help me out. In the upper left-hand corner, you'll see a little apple on your screen. Go ahead and hit that little apple and just go ahead and hit restart. We do have up in the front of the room, if any of you wanted to come, and again, this is Wandy's class tomorrow, but for the iOS 11, Wandy has the sign-up sheet. I'm telling you, it's going to be full. I might jump in and show a couple things as well, but officially, it's Wandy's class. So that's going to be at 4:30 tomorrow. There's no charge for it. You just need to sign up because I'm not going to start Wandy in Celebrity Central. I'm going to start him in here. So we're just going to have like 25 people maximum in here. So, Wandy, you have the sign-up sheet in the front for that one? Yeah. And then on the next C-Day at 10:30 in here, we're going to do a Mac class. So we're going to do a class called Mac to the Future. If you've been using a Mac for a while, doesn't matter. Because I'm not showing you how to turn it on. I'm not showing you things like that. We're going to talk about the new Macs. We're going to learn, have you ever signed a document with your Mac before using Preview? So I'm going to show you, you've done it before, right? I'm going to show you how to sign a document with the Mac. We're going to do a little bit of video editing. And we're going to do my absolute favorite thing, which is called ripping off the recording industry by making a ringtone in GarageBand and sending it to our phone so we don't have to pay for it in iTunes. It's really a lot of fun because we're at sea and I'm a pirate. So that's it for today. That's it. If you want to see, Wandy's got the sheet. There's 2 sheets there. One is iOS 11 and one is Mac. Just sign up if you want, even if you don't know if you're going to make it. I'm just saying so you make sure you have a seat. That's it for now. Bye!